What's up, Monikas? So there was this game that I was really excited for, Yooka-Laylee, a spiritual successor to the Banjo-Kazooie series backed by people on Kickstarter who demand a classic platforming experience instead of another fucking racing game. And it looks good. I'm still really interested in it, but there's one thing holding me back. My racism. Bats are cool and all, but this guy better prepare himself for some amphibian on amphibian violence. So, on to the real discussion. JonTron was set to be a voice actor in this game. In fact, the developers reached out to him and everything got done. But in light of some of Johnny's recent comments, he will no longer be in the final game, as his viewpoints don't represent the views of Playtronic. I have to say I'm glad for JonTron. I've admired his work since I first came across him with Game Grumps, like I'm sure many others had. He's just got such a charming personality, and he just seems like an all-around decent guy, which is why I was just as shocked as anyone to find out he's actually a Nazi. As you can probably guess, I'm calling bullshit on this one. And you should probably consider doing the same, or you're probably a racist. Just like everyone else in the world. The only thing protecting you when you're on that side of the argument are fallacies that leftist racism doesn't count as real racism, because it's for the greater good. Get Out wasn't playing at our theater, unfortunately, but from what I hear, it's a film that advertises to trick you into thinking you're getting into a Black Lives Matter film, and then it hits you with what's referred to as reverse racism, which is a bogus term, I know. But it's the idea that valuing a race above others is also racism. In fact, that's exactly what Hitler himself did, that people lose their shit over. Yet they join in nowadays when we do that with anyone who's essentially non-white. I suppose I should disclose that I'm part honky. And I can use that term because I am part honky. Just kidding, because anyone can use that word because it's not viewed as racist, since it's against white people. And white people are viewed as the cultural punching bag of the world, which is funny because whites are set to become minorities in their own established nations within the coming decades, and they're already down to about 1/5 of the global population, which seems to enforce the fact that all that matters on the earth is North America and people in entertainment, because if you cut the pizza any other way, then it just might still be palatable. You see, I can say this when I'm mostly native. When North America used to be our continent and got taken over by whites, and now we represent hardly anything. We're more minority than these people bitching and moaning, be they of African descent, Mexican, East Indian, or if they have the nerve, female, you name it. Complaining that they're a minority. Well, what the fuck are you doing? Stepping all over my people, my culture, my heritage. Okay, honestly, I don't care all that much. If anything, I'm racist mostly against my own people. Growing up in Prince Rupert, I've spent a lot of time with native people, mostly family, some not family, and there are truths to the stereotypes of laziness, alcoholism, and violence. Surely I'm an exception. Oh, I can already see the comments now. First video in over a month. Not lazy. What a good laugh. KYS faggot. But when I meet another native person, I can usually tell within a minute if they fall into those stereotypes, because there are people who do just that. Same thing with gay guys who are like, oh my god, or blonde bimbos who are like, 2 + 2 = 5, I think. If you act stereotypical, then I see nothing wrong with people stereotyping you. I'm not an enabler, and I won't let you hide behind baseless accusations when I judge how you act by, well, how you're acting. I have plenty of friends of all sorts of races, and I can tell you now that I don't hold different people to different standards. I found people of all sorts of races and cultures and religions that I can get along with just as fine as anyone else, but I've also seen my fair share of walking stereotypes, and if it's racist to write off someone who's unenjoyable to be around because they've shown themselves to be lazy, violent, unmotivatable, ignorant, intolerant, narcissistic, selfish, deceitful, greedy, rude, entitled, arrogant, or any other irritating trait that ticks me off, then so be it. If you don't do the same, then you're socially inept and you're not going to enjoy your short, miserable life. Unlike me, I love my pathetic life because I'm not bound by political correctness. I'm not going to force myself to get along with someone who acts like an asshole just because their skin color is not white. Life is too fucking short for that bullshittery. So anyways, back to Yooka-Laylee, as Heatst.com quotes one of the backers, "The way you are letting your political biases affect past business is despicable, and the way you treat those who financed you is even worse. Banning and trying to silence the group who wanted you to make a good game regardless of our political beliefs differ." Oh, bleh. Okay, I botched that. Let me try that again. Banning and trying to silence the group who wanted you to make a good game regardless of if our political beliefs differ is so egotistical and out of touch. It is censorship, plain and simple, and censorship is one of the major evils our society is facing. You are part of the problem. And I couldn't have said that better myself. Maybe I'm illiterate, I don't know. But anyways, JonTron is Persian. He's half Iranian at least, half Hungarian, I know. And now people are saying he's a racist white guy for speaking out for someone else's culture, for defending anti-immigration policies, and for citing ethnic crime statistics that show African Americans as disproportionately more criminally inclined than non-Hispanic whites and Hispanics. In fact, the most violent crimes tend to be black-on-black crimes. The Daily Wire has an article on it, and even the Wall Street Journal, the shitters that be, report that white-on-white crime is much lower, and the data shows 93% of black homicide victims are killed by other black people. These are statistics. You're saying that numbers are racist, and that we can't trust numbers because of this, and that we have to come up with excuses instead of actually working out any real solutions to lower the amount of crime that gets committed in the first place. This is absolutely not a healthy way of thinking, and I fully agree with JonTron's choice to bring up this issue and say what he said. He said that rich black kids commit more crimes than poor white kids, and if that's racist, then I'd rather be politically incorrect if I can be correct where it actually matters to be. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.